In today's show, the NBA trade deadline is upon us. We are an hour away. Shit has gone down. I'm grumpy. I've got a barrel of coffee. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And it is really bloody early here and we are ready to talk. Hey, I was going to say where you can find me, but I don't even care about that. Nah, do it. Find me on Twitter at redrock_Beeble and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. It is 4:55 a.m. I have got, for those of you watching the live stream here, or if you're listening later, you can't see it, but I have got a Locked On branded barrel of coffee. We are ready to go. So much has gone down. I will get to as much as I can of what has happened. And again, I haven't had to go through and be able to completely dial in on everyone's projections yet, because of course we don't know how all this stuff will change over the next few days and 4 or 5 days, all that sort of stuff. So we'll see all that stuff change, but let's talk about what's actually happened. So, of course, last night we had Delon Wright going to Sacramento. I talked about that just as I was hitting the end music. Woj came in and dropped a bomb on me. Delon's losing value, I'm pretty sure, there, because he was running. Look, we saw earlier in the year for Detroit when he wasn't running the point guard spot, he wasn't really useful, and he's not going to be doing that. Halliburton, Fox, they're going to have the ball a lot, and he's probably going to play fewer than 28 minutes that he was playing. Maybe it's 26. Corey Joseph was playing 23 in Sacramento, and maybe he's better than Corey Joseph pretty clearly. But, again, these are all guys that maybe you drop and maybe you don't, but they're trending towards being a drop, and you'll see that with a few other guys that we talk about here. Corey Joseph, you're not adding him in Detroit. Dennis Smith is the guy there. Killian Hayes, he's going to get an opportunity, but it's going to be a while. He's like 3 weeks away, then he's going to be a ramp up, and then he's going to be bad with field goal percentage. I don't see him being an ad. Next trade, JaVale McGee to Denver for Isaiah Hartenstein. I like Hartenstein a lot. I really, really do. Now, that's only a deeper league ad, but he is going to be an impact player in 20-team leagues. And that seems like nothing, but he's interesting. And then, of course, Kendrick Perkins. What happened next?
It's Big Vucevic.
Well, it appears that the Orlando Magic front office and ownership have been watching a certain Orlando Magic 2K21 rebuild video. They did it a little bit later than I did, but they did it. Everyone's gone. Gordon, Fournier, Nikola Vucevic. They just need to get rid of Terrence Ross now. This is what they needed to do. And they did it. And Big Vooch goes to Chicago, along with the Chief, Al-Farouq Aminu.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
And going back to Orlando, we have Otto Porter Jr. and Wendell Carter Jr. So just firing up the juniors there. Now, I believe... Now, a lot of people think this is Mo Bamba time. Mo Bamba can't even be the backup center at the moment. Ken Burcher's already ahead of him, so I really don't think that all of a sudden Steve Clifford's going to go, you know what, over 3 years I've been wrong. He's actually good all this time. Let's give him these chances. Like, you haven't even given him a chance to show that he doesn't have a chance. That's how bad that Clifford thinks he is. So I don't think this is an opportunity for Bamba. But I am pretty excited about Wendell Carter Jr.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
He should be their starting center. Him and Isaac next season in that front court is a really tremendous defensive pairing. I would add Wendell Carter Jr. Now, of course, Orlando's done a million other moves. They get Gary Harris in. They get RJ Hampton in. So a lot changing there. A lot. I don't know... I don't know what else to expect or how this roster is going to look. So we're going to have Cole Anthony / Michael Carter Williams at point guard. All right, that doesn't change. Shooting guard, Evan Fournier has gone. He's headed to Boston. We'll talk about him in a second. So who starts at shooting guard? Gary Harris, maybe? But he's injured. Yeah, and Harris lost his fantasy value not because of lack of opportunities. It's because he couldn't shoot anymore. Now, I think his opportunities in terms of usage probably spiked somewhat, and I wouldn't mind him as a 12-team guy, but I don't think that he's going to be a priority. In fact, if the Magic are serious about rebuilding this thing, RJ Hampton needs to be the guy. I thought he flashed a lot this year. To be honest, I thought he flashed offensively more than Gary Harris has this year. Defensively, there's still a way to go. But they're both just watch-type guys to me to be that starting shooting guard. Starting small forward. James Ennis, does he get that job back? Does Otto Porter get in there? I am marginally intrigued about Porter. If he got 30 minutes a night, he would be a 12-team league player, and he is better than Ennis, and God, he is better than Dwayne Bacon. We all know that. So there is a chance there for Otto Porter to be the starting small forward for the Magic, and that could have value. I don't mind considering him. Do they start Chuma Akiki at power forward? They do, probably. I would have to assume they do, but this is what I've said about Akiki. He's shown flashes, but he hasn't shown enough for me to say, well, if he gets 30 minutes a night, he's a guaranteed 12-team league guy. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think his numbers will probably be more like what we see from 30-plus minutes of Isaac Okoro in Cleveland, which isn't quite... what's going on? So which isn't quite... I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything here on news. No, I don't think anything else has gone down. Sorry, I'm just Akiki. I don't think that we've seen opportunities for him to play some minutes, but I don't think that we've seen him be a guaranteed must roster. To me, he's behind Wendell, he's behind Otto Porter in that scenario. Now, the other side of that Vucevic deal, I think Vuce is going to lose some value. He was a consistent top 15 player because he's got another guy now like Zach LaVine there who's going to have the ball in his hands quite a bit. Yeah, Markkanen's going to need some shots. So Vuce is going to lose a little bit. It's not going to be a huge amount. I think this almost definitely moves Thad Young to the bench. And not Markkanen. Markkanen could be on a different team, though. He should be on a different team. But this is why I was saying, Wendell Carter's form would tell you he's a drop, but his minutes would tell you he's a drop. I said, just wait. Let's just wait to the trade deadline. Let's see what happens here, and let's see if anything arises. And that's why, I like what's happening there. Evan Fournier moving to Boston. Now, people have... I put out an initial tweet as soon as I woke up and saw that shit was going down. And people are like, why would you drop Fournier? Fournier's been excellent this year, but he's also been doing it, playing 33 minutes a night, playing pseudo point guard at times and getting a ton of shots. And in Boston, he now becomes the fifth offensive option, coming off the bench, playing maybe 27 minutes a night behind Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. He's not competing for shots with Michael Carter-Williams, James Ennis, and Dwayne Bacon. It is a very different scenario. And they gave up nothing to get him, 2 second-round picks. So he's not coming in and going, right, guys, I'm here. It is Fournier time. Get out of the way. Cover your dicks, I'm going all in. Like, that's not what is happening. He's going to slide into that 27-minute... Look, it's going to hurt guys like Peyton Pritchard. It's going to hurt guys like Jeff Teague. Aaron Nesmith's going to be asked out of the rotation. But Fournier is a bloke who... Look, let's be honest. He's been playing well over his head this season. I don't think anybody would deny that. Appreciate that for someone who said I look like shit. Yeah, that's awesome. Love you too. Fournier, look, Evan Fournier was 2 years ago ranked the 128th ranked player in 32 minutes a night. So even in big minutes with decent usage, and that was on 21 usage. So is that what he is? Is he a guaranteed? Is he playing 31 minutes a night? I guess that's the question that you have in Boston. I would have my doubts. I think he's more of a 28-minute a night player. Maybe. I don't know. It's there's a lot of other guys there who are better than him in Boston. And again, we're not saying that you need to drop this guy immediately. And I'm not saying that I need to drop another former Magic player immediately, but he's pretty bloody close as well. But it is hard to see how he can maintain the same level of value that he was putting up previously. That's impossible. Now, does Fournier, from here on out finish outside the top 150? I think there's a decent chance of that for sure. What else have we got? Aaron Gordon to Denver. All right, so we talked about Aaron Gordon going to Denver. Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, first-round picks coming back. Gary Clark goes to Denver. Don't worry about Gary Clark. There's nothing to say. There's just so many Garys moving today. We'll talk about another Gaz. Actually, that gives me... let's do it.
Nice, Gary! Nice, Gary! Nice, Gary!
That's like ringing the bells for when people die, but the 3 Garys get traded. That's what happens. Aaron Gordon in Denver. I put out a tweet. Aaron Gordon might be a drop. What? Aaron Gordon a drop? Are you crazy? He's the 140th ranked player this year. Right? So now he goes to Denver, where he has to... his value, it had spiked a little bit, but it had spiked because he was playing point guard. Do you think he's going to play point guard with Big Chungus around?
Big Chungus, Big Chungus, Big Chungus, big.
Is he going to play point guard with Jamal Murray, the headmaster, around? What the hell is going to happen when Will Barton wants the ball in his hands? Are we going to prioritize a guy that isn't a good ball handler? He's a great defender. That's cool, but never translates to defensive stats. Shooting numbers, shooting threes well, not shooting anything else well. Aaron Gordon, 140th ranked player while he was in Orlando. Now, I think he probably slots in and starts, and then Michael Porter. I think this might hurt Michael Porter a little bit. Not that he's not that different to Aaron Gordon in terms of player type. He's better. But I think this hurts him a little bit because I think we were going to see Porter at power forward, then Monty Morris or Gary Harris coming back in. I think this moves Will Barton exclusively to the shooting guard and Michael Porter to the small forward spot, which he isn't as good at. And I suppose him and Aaron Gordon can interchange it. It obviously nukes JaMychal Green. It nukes Paul Millsap. Not that they had 12-team value, but probably their 14-team league value is gone. But Gordon slots in. He'll play starters minutes, but it's not just starters minutes. It becomes assist numbers, and usage will likely drop for Gordon. And if he already was the 140th best player, where do we go from here? I guess that's somewhat of a concern there. Now, I do think that he can play more minutes, and again, it's not just an auto drop, same as Fournier, because we need to see how it all pans out. But it's not a good move for him. It's not making him better. I think we can all say that. And when you're the 140th guy already, and you're not getting better, then I don't really know what to go on with from there. You can't get one of these locked on mugs, my guys, because this is an exclusive. Someone said, isn't Will Barton being moved? I have not heard that news at all. That is not something that I have seen. Let me just go and check my details. I don't know where we've seen that. I'm just fighting with someone on Twitter. Just give me a sec. All right. This is someone arguing with me about Aaron Gordon. Yeah, you got to do those things. All right. Let's have a look. What other news have we got going on here? Troy Brown Jr. and Flaming Mo Wagner. They go to Chicago. Wagner is going to be the backup center, so obviously his value is gone. Troy Brown, interesting one from Troy Brown. I like Troy Brown a bit, but what do we expect him to do? Is he even in the rotation? Okay, so we're going to have Satoransky and White, Levine, Temple. Look, the 2 guys that the Bulls traded weren't in the rotation. They did trade away 2 guys to get one in the Vucevic deal, so maybe Troy Brown fits in there, but I'm not 100% convinced that he's going to have this massive, massive role. That's Troy Brown Jr. Wagner just couldn't be the backup center, but Thad Young plays a ton of backup center as well, and Markkanen's going to play backup center also. So I'm not sure Wagner's going to play. They got Al-Farouq Aminu. Does he just take the Otto Porter role? I'm not. Archie Giacomo, Valentine. I'm not convinced that Brown is going to be... I'm definitely not taking a flyer on him. He is not a 12-team league. People said that Troy Brown is better than... They'll play Troy Brown over Pat Williams. I don't know. Someone in the chat said this. No way. That is not happening. I guarantee you that's not happening. Will he play over Garrett Temple? Almost no chance of that. Will he play over Thad Young? No chance of that. Will he play over Satoransky? Absolutely no way. It's going to be, does he play the 10 minutes that Denzel Valentine's playing? Does he play the 10 minutes that Ryan Archer-Giacomo is playing? Where does the Chief Al-Farouq Aminu fit in? There's a lot of questions in Chicago, and I don't think the answer to those questions is more Troy Brown, unfortunately for him. On to the Wizards. I also saw the comment that, is Dan Gafford getting 30 minutes a night? Now, I don't know how many kids are watching this show, but if you are, we might get a bit rowdy in here. Guys, This is what you need to know. Have you fucking seen Scott Brooks play centers? Secondly, have you fucking seen Daniel Gafford play basketball? Those two things meshed together are not good. They are not good at all. So no, I am not looking. I'm not looking at guys like. We had a trade going on. Matt Thomas going to Utah. Cool. All right, there's a live trade for you. So no, Daniel Gafford is not stepping in to play 30 minutes tonight. It's going to be more Robin Lopez, more Alex Len. Daniel Gafford is interesting if you can lock down a 23, 25 minute a night role, right? That's fine. But I wouldn't say, look, he's not a priority ahead of guys like Wendell Carter or Otto Porter. I wouldn't say that is the way to go. He seems a long way off that, but he has intrigue. There's no doubt about that. That is one to watch, but it's not a lock at all. Nemanja Bjelica goes to Miami in exchange for Chris Silver and Mo Harkless. Well, Silver and Harkless won't play really in Sacramento. Bjelica may not play a huge amount. There's no real move there. George Hill moves to Philadelphia. I heard someone say, hey, who's going to be the starting point guard in Oklahoma City now? I just haven't been watching for the last 2 months. Like, Hill hasn't played. It's going to be the Salt Flake, Theo Maledon. And then Ty Jerome is going to get some minutes. Like literally what we saw yesterday or what we've seen for the last 2 months. George Hill moving to Philadelphia. He is not a 12-team or 14-team league pickup. He moves into a role that's going to be reduced from Shake Milton's role. Or Seth Curry loses a couple of minutes there. He's going to maybe he plays 28 minutes a night. He's not going to be a 12-team league player, George Hill. So I don't really believe that one either. And then, of course, part of that deal, Tony Bradley is going to Oklahoma City. Now, again, I'm just throwing out, people have asked me, is he a must-add? No. Still Al Horford, still Moses Brown, still Isaiah Roby. I believe, maybe I'm incorrect this, has Bradley been with the Thunder this year already? Before he went to Philadelphia? Or he went straight from Utah to Detroit and then Detroit to Philadelphia, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. So he's in Oklahoma. Now, Bradley flashed that last game against the Warriors, but Moses Brown has flashed a lot more. Maybe this does hurt Moses, but 4 centers, Horford, Bradley, Roby, who's more of a power forward, I guess now, and Moses Brown, or Al Horford. I can't remember which name I said. But it does complicate things, but I would 100% want Moses Brown over Tony Bradley there. The big one, Norman Powell from Toronto to Portland for Gary Trent Jr. and Rocket Rodney Hood. Am I adding Gary Trent? We saw Gary Trent play 30-plus minutes a night in Portland with CJ McCollum down, and he wasn't a top 160 player. So if you're looking for a boost of scoring in a points league, some boost of threes, then sure, Gaz can do that. And does he start, or do they go back to starting a center? This Raptors team, there's a lot of questions. So I'm not really going to dive too much in that, but I'm not massively excited about Gary because he just has so many areas where he lacks, and he's a shit shooter. As for Norm Powell, you imagine he goes onto a bench role. I don't think they start him over Derek Jones Jr. I think he still plays 30-plus minutes, but it probably won't be the 37 minutes he plays in Toronto, so there loses some value. And the big thing about Norman Powell, as I've said forever, he is so comfortable, and he is getting a ton of good looks, and he is hitting them at an astonishingly high rate. Astonishingly high. Going to a new team, a new system, a new coach, new teammates, new role, fewer minutes. I'm not dropping him. But if we come back here in 2 weeks, he might be a drop as that field goal percentage has fallen off, the minutes have fallen off, and the usage potentially has fallen off. Now, I know I've been saying this for a while with Norman Powell, but they're all the reasons that I'm a little bit cautious there. Austin Rivers made his way to OKC. Cool. Terrence Ferguson went to the Knicks. Iggy Brisdakis. I like Brisdakis. He goes to the Sixers. He's not going to play there. And Vincent Poirier goes to the New York Knicks as well. Not big moves there, of course. What else are we going on? This Matt Thomas to Utah move looks like it's just to clear some space for a big 3-for-1 or 4-for-1 Kyle Lowry deal. That's what it appears. Also, Woj just said it opens up a roster spot for an additional player in a Lowry deal. We've got 45 minutes to go. Matt Thomas is just not going to play, really. He can come in and be a spot shooter. Oladipo apparently was at Rockets practice today. That coffee was hot. Holy crap. All right. We're still waiting on Oladipo. We're still waiting on Kyle Lowry. We're still waiting on every other trade. The chat is going bananas. Guys, don't report any trades. Don't believe any trades, I guess, that are reported in the chat because people are lying. People do it. I don't know what it is. It is real small dick energy. I don't know what's wrong with your life. It's moving too fast for me to actually go through here and block people, but I'm going to try. Terrence Ross, look, he should have been rostered anyway before the injury, but he's got some real value now to get a ton of shots. We've got a lot of people in here watching this. I just want more of them in. I wanted to get to 10,000 lives, but let's go. I'm just going to tweet this out. We've got a lot of people in here, which is awesome. Is it Mo Bamba time? Like, I've answered that already. I really don't think so. It's, again, Steve Clifford thought Mo Bamba was worse than Kem Birch and was the third string center. Wendell Carter Jr. is better than Mo Bamba, pretty clearly. So, I don't think they're just saying, well, Mo, you're playing 30 a night. Now, I did mention him as that per-minute monster, and we absolutely want to watch him to see what happens, to see if this rebuild makes Steve Clifford say, sorry, Kem, you've been great, but see you later. Mo's playing 20 minutes a night as a backup. That would be interesting, and then if he works his way into something more. But I just don't think that they value him as a good basketball player at this point in his career. He just hasn't shown that yet. So I think we have to just be cautious with that. Like, I'd rather add Wendell. I'd rather add Otto. I might even rather take a flyer on RJ Hampton or even Gary Trent over Mo Bamba. What's this? I know people keep talking about Will Barton. Oh, did he talk about Will Barton? What's happened with Will Barton? Like, Will Barton loses a little bit for sure because of Aaron Gordon and pushing him down, but that's sort of offset a bit there by Gary Harris never returning. So I don't think it really. I don't think he really loses a ton. He might lose a little bit, but I don't think. I'm just going to have a look to see where he comes out in terms of projections for me after I've done a little bit on the Denver side of things. Look, and I think he's still going to be a rosterable guy. There is going to be a marginal drop off, would be my expectation there. Marcus Gasol returning to action today, by the way. Is Oladipo getting traded? That's the expectation. Someone asked me. Again, fake trades. What's the point? Like, guys, everyone is here watching a show where I am here talking about the trades as they happen, rather than you throwing your little 2-pube energy in there to tell everyone a fake trade. Charlie Davis has a pretty rough take on Gary. I'm assuming Gary Trent. He isn't a shit shooter. Well, again, he played like 35 minutes a night and couldn't crack the top 150 with CJ McCollum out. How do we think that's changing? He is the 171st ranked player this year in 31 minutes a night. Do I really think that he's coming in and playing 34 minutes a night in Toronto? He's not as good as Norman Powell. Is he going to step in and play that sort of role? I'm really not convinced. And he does so little in so many other areas that it just isn't enough for me. I could be wrong. You could add him. Like, he's a speculative type flyer. I'd rather take a flyer in Dennis Smith, to be honest. But again, he was not good when he was playing those minutes in Portland. Tejas, Wendell Carter Jr. over Delon Wright, even if Hill gets traded, I would have to think so, yes. Cooper says, I'm thinking of dropping Kobe White for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Absolutely no problem with that. Lost ones. Someone who has Vooch, Markkanen, Fournier, and Satoransky. I can't figure out my next play should be. Well, can't do anything with Vooch. Markkanen not doing much there. I think you're going to be considering a drop of Fournier, be my guess, but maybe not yet. Steve Hoff. Can you call out some of these losers who rip on you? I did. What do you want me to do? Daniel, hell, you look like shit. No worries. It's 5 a.m. Daniel Voitko dropping D-line. Who is that? Like, as I said yesterday, I'm not massively in on Theo. I liked him. I wanted, the right thing was to give him that opportunity, but it hasn't really come through. I probably Otto Porter, to be honest, but I'm not confident with that one either. Silas says rest of season: Wendell Carter, Nurkic, Moses Brown, Pirtle, or Claxton. It's Nurkic pretty clearly there, and then it's probably Wendell and Moses with the higher upside, but Moses is a little bit more clouded. But we'll get more clarification on that. But to me, Nurkic. Diego Cordero, do I drop Nance, Rob Williams, or DeAndre Hunter for Wendell Carter? Whew. Okay, so they're all top 100 players, I think. Hunter's struggled since he came back, but I wouldn't be dropping him. Williams, there is a chance of just consistent annoyance. I don't know. Nance's upside isn't that high. I don't believe. That's a tough one. I personally would probably drop Nance. The upside just isn't as high to me. Just going to see if there's any more news going through here. Oh, here we go. The Hawks and the Clippers are in a deal to send Rajon Rondo to the Clippers. Awesome. How bad's Rondo been this year, by the way? Just a horrendous regular season player who did play well in the playoffs last year for sure. But horrendous this year. Would I drop Claxton for a Kiki? I would not. Russ the Muss. My point guards are Holiday, Halliburton, Van Vliet, and John Wall. I want to drop one for Terrence Ross. Is that a good idea? Just need no, absolutely not. You are talking about okay. John Wall maybe if he has to have surgery, but Drew Holiday, top 40. Tyrese Halliburton, top 50. Fred Van Vliet, top 15 maybe. What are we talking about? John Wall, look, maybe, but no. For Terrence Ross, God, no. Do I drop Steven Adams for Wendell Carter? Yeah, that's the easiest drop you'll make all year. Ryan Tucker says, I traded Wendell Carter for Aaron Gordon as soon as I heard the trade went through. Good move. No, that's a horrendous move, in my opinion. I would never do that. I would have done the other way around. Is Obi sleeping? I don't know. He got up when I got up, but he's not in here at the moment. So I would assume that he's sleeping. Standard points league, Trent or DSJ? What's standard? Yahoo, ESPN, CBS? Again, I think it's probably in a points league, Gary Trent. Chris, thanks for waking up early, Josh. ESPN 9-Cat League. Who starts at guard for Lowry and Powell? Well, Lowry hasn't gone anywhere yet, so we don't know. So I can't answer that. Let me answer that when we hear more news come through. Let's have a look. Just going through. Yeah, people seem to have a very different opinion of Gary Trent versus what Gary Trent actually is. He is averaging 15 points per game on 41% shooting this year, 77 from the line, with under 1.5 assists, under 1 steal, and 2.2 rebounds. He's a good player for threes in those 31 minutes, and maybe he plays 33 minutes. But again, he is not a must-roster guy. He is going to probably see a spike in usage in Toronto with guys moving on. I don't know how that all works out, and I don't have any problem with you adding Gary Trent, but just don't get too excited about him. Because again, we've seen opportunities for him, and it hasn't done anything. He's just not a good fantasy player outside of points leagues, really, at this point. Is it possible Chris Boucher gets more minutes now? Who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe. Again, Norman Powell is a better player than Gary Trent. Maybe Boucher plays more. I honestly have no idea. I cannot predict what Nick Nurse is going to do, except I predict he'll be unpredictable. Do I drop Fournier in a 10-team points league deal? Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah. Asa PB. If I understand you correctly, you think Otto Porter over a Kiki. Wouldn't Orlando give their young guys a true shot since they just out? Well, that's a front office thing rather than a coaching thing. I would like to think that they would give those young guys a shot, but even if they do, on a per-minute basis, if Otto Porter plays 25 minutes and a Kiki plays 30 minutes, Porter's still a better fantasy player at this point. A Kiki's not just there. But I don't mind taking a flyer on him. Miko Estrada, 14 teams. Someone offered me Will Barton and DeAndre Hunter for Lauri Markkanen. Would accept it? I would, yes. Someone wants to, we haven't had any more news about what this Rondo trade actually is. Who's the best pickup in Orlando? Wendell Carter Jr., and then I think Porter, and then I think Akiki, and I think RJ Hampton's an interesting one. But Hampton, Gary Harris, Porter, Akiki, these guys are all fringy. Like if Terrence Ross is available, him and Wendell are the two major ads. It could be Mo Bamba who plays 25 minutes. I really doubt that. Akiki could play 30 and even then not crack the top 200. I think that's a possibility for him as well. Otto Porter, if he plays 28 minutes, he will be a top 100 guy. I'm fairly confident with that, and I think that he will play that there. But again, there's just that team is so all over the shop that I just don't know. There's so many ups and downs. Will Thad Young start at power forward? I imagine they keep Lauri Markkanen there, but he could start there. I think he does lose some value though with Vooch coming in. Dylan Detlefson, a trade went through I sent days before the news about SGA. Norman Powell and Markkanen for Shea. So should I ask for the league to reverse it? I think it is bad form for a trade to be proposed, left to sit there, and then when a bloke gets injured for it to be accepted. I think that's bad form, and I think, yes, if you didn't go in and reverse it quick enough, I think that in general, and maybe you need to write it into league rules, I think those things should be reversed. I think it's pretty bad form, and if someone had offered me a deal, and then that bloke got hurt, I would send a message to that guy and say, hey, this trade's still sitting here. Are you still interested in it? I just think it's pretty shitty, and yeah, look, it's again, let's just say it again, adding into the blokes dropping in fake trade news, real small dick energy. And I don't know what the female equivalent to that is. If there's any women here watching at all, what's my female equivalent to small dick energy? The Magic is so dumb. Zishan, they are actually 100% smart. They should have been doing this for years. I don't know what I don't know what the problem is here. This is absolutely the right move for them. Is Nickeil Alexander-Walker still a hold even with Lonzo staying? The trade deadline's not over. What do you mean even if Lonzo's staying? Is Lonzo confirmed to be staying? People need to stop making assumptions about things. Is Oladipo staying? Maybe. Is he getting traded? Who knows? Maybe. Is Kyle Lowry getting traded? Probably, but I don't know. Is Lonzo getting traded? Perhaps. Perhaps not. Who of you here saw Vooch getting traded? Who thought Wendell Carter was moving? Who thought that Mo Wagner was going to get shipped off? Like, we don't know any of these things. Although I did pick a few of these trades in terms of players most likely to be traded. And Norman Powell, that was an obvious one, but Gary Trent, I suppose he was a relatively obvious one. Small tit energy? I don't believe that. And none of you are actually women that are mentioning this either. Dry pussy energy. All right, that's enough of that one. Where are we? Do I drop Danny Green or Kelly Olynyk for Dennis Smith Jr.? I wouldn't have a problem with dropping Kelly Olynyk there. Jonathan E. Should I drop Nicky Claxton for Dennis Smith or Otto Porter in ESPN Points League? Yeah, look, Claxton we like. I think he's more of a category league guy than a points league guy. So yeah, I don't mind that. Eduardo Macias, Smart, and Fournier, 10-team 9-cat value rest of the season. Thanks, Josh. Well, you can check my projections. Very simple. I don't know how to answer that exactly, but I'm telling you now, Fournier is in a 10-team league. There's no way I'd have any interest in him there. Again, you might want to wait to see how it pans out, but this is my immediate thought on it, that no, I just don't think it. Thoughts on Diallo after the Delon trade? I think Diallo's got some pretty good value there in Detroit when he eventually comes back. Ahmed Khan, trade Lowry for D'Lo. Isn't D'Angelo Russell? Sure. We're still a way away from him returning, so you just got to be careful about that. Pete Ford. Hey, man, thanks for everything you do. No worries. Thanks, Pete. My team went from dogs balls to pretty okay. Cheers. All right. Now, Pete, I'm going to assume you're American, because that dogs balls, the reference is a little off, my guy. Dogs balls is when something's obvious. Yeah, it stands out like dog's balls. If you mean dog shit, then sure. Ooh, Lou Williams for Rajon Rondo. Williams could land in Atlanta or a third team. No, if Lou Williams goes to Atlanta, he's not an ad. He is not an ad. But he might not even end up in Atlanta. You know what the problem? I am just trying to get my head around all this. The problem with this massive locked on oil barrel of coffee is it insulates the coffee and it's too hot. Oh, it is too hot. Holy shit. I need to fire this stuff right into my guts. When do updated projections go live? Some of them have been updated already, but in general, once the deadline's done, then I can go in, because I can make projections now, right? And then Toronto makes another deal and I have to redo them all. Or Orlando makes another deal and I have to redo them all. So I can't go in and just fire everything up straight away, but I'll go do this. After I finish this show and the deadline's done, I'll do the projections. I'll go take Ben to school. And then we'll come back and we'll do another show. Today, there won't be the standard recap show today, because what we'll be doing is really just digging into the trades once we know, winners, losers, priority pickups, that sort of stuff. But that takes a little bit of time to get your head all around. This is just immediate reactions. Doesn't Lou Will hate Atlanta? Isn't Lou Williams from Atlanta? Didn't he get in trouble? It is Rajon Rondo for Lou Williams here, this trade. Didn't Lou Williams get in trouble in the bubble because he was in Atlanta getting his wings from the strip club? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Lou Williams is not going to be a pickup in that scenario. Rondo is playing 12 minutes a night. They're getting Rondo for Lou Williams. This is how bad Lou Williams' value is. Lou Williams and 2 second-round picks and cash for Rondo. Have the Clippers seen Rajon Rondo? Have they seen him play? 2 second-rounders. Now, maybe they're not good ones. Maybe they're the Detroit ones. Holy, what? And cash. I was going to say this could fire up Luke Kennard, but the dickheads are going to play Rondo, aren't they? At least it means maybe no Reggie Jackson. But is Reggie Jackson better than Rajon Rondo? Just in case it's not clear, Rajon Rondo is not a pickup. No, he is not a pickup. He's actually bad. He's very bad. It's not the playoffs where he can become better. Zell plays games. Guys, announcement. I got a Nintendo Switch yesterday and I got a PS5. That's not here yet, but it's happening. My Vucevic, Trey, and Kemba for Jokic and Conley. Thoughts? Too many players. Why though? That's a lot. It's quite a lot to get. It is getting Jokic, and I think I'd probably like it, but it's a lot. Danton, Chin, Ann. Yes, I would know what to do with the Magic. Yes, I should have done that. They did what I did, basically. Danton, Serpa. Is Kevin Love still worth any roster spot? 10-team, 15-play league. Not a chance. No way. Heir to the Jordan 23. Do I think Wendell Carter has more value than Horton Tucker? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Just having a look to see what else. Again, I'll state this again. Lou Williams is not a pickup. Rajon Rondo is not a pickup. He is not a pickup. When will Drummond be bought out by? Jazz Avac. Josh Lloyd gaming channel incoming. That's what Ben suggested, because you start a gaming channel. So you never know. You never know. Does Herter lose value in Atlanta with Lou Williams coming in? Maybe a little bit. He's already losing value. I think he was already trending towards being a drop anyway, with Bogdanovic and then eventually Reddish and then Dunn. Williams is not good anymore. He's an interesting scoring option, but he's not good anymore. Block of potatoes, ESPN points, KD or Kyrie rest of the season, both average 50. I would have to say Kyrie. I expect him to play more. Does this hurt Trey's value? Not in the slightest. Hope we're safe. Thanks, Dominic, with the crazy weather. The crazy weather is not impacting us at all here. We're not doing that. That's up in New South Wales. We have no problem. But thank you for thinking of us, but no, we're fine. There's no weather here problems at all. Lou Williams staying in Atlanta. Again, Lou Williams staying in Atlanta. Rondo was playing 12 minutes a night. Williams probably gets a little bit more there. It maybe hurts the upside of Bogdanovic. I think Herter was already trending towards being a drop. It's going to make it hard for guys like Chris Dunn to get any meaningful minutes. Maybe it hurts Tony Snell, but again, Williams is like 14 to 16 team league stuff that we're talking about, and Rondo is not an ad. He's not better than Patrick Beverley. He's not better than Luke Kennard. Shit, he's not better than Terrence Mann. I don't know if he's better than Reggie Jackson. Maybe if you need assists, he can be like a Facu Campazzo type of guy, a guy that you can come in and maybe you can get you 5 assists in 18 minutes, and that can have some value on a day-to-day basis, but as a regular must-roster type thing, no, I don't believe so. Is Will Barton a drop? I don't know why we would think that. Janelle Scarlett. Appreciate you getting up early to watch this. Yeah, I know. New Jet 55. There's some good Aussie gaming streamers. I know Ben watches a bunch of them. I know a couple. Who do I know? Little Z. That's the one. That's one of the ones I know. Now let's get up to 5,000. You rock, Josh. Is Dennis Smith Jr. an ad in ESPN 12 team Roto? Probably. Drop Barton, Rose, or Ingles for him. I think he's worth looking at over Rose there. Yeah. Scott Watson. If by miracle Oladipo is not traded, does Kevin Porter lose most of his value? Probably. Although then, or he loses some. But then you have the scenario when Wall gets surgery or misses time that Porter gets that value back. So we wouldn't be doing anything crazy there. Ahmed Noor, Terrence Ross or Wendell Carter, standard Yahoo Points League. I prefer Carter, but again, I'm much higher on him than most other people are. Do teams actually want Oladipo? Nope. Brandon, calm down. Yes, I will recap the trades. We'll do that. And we're going to do a full show on that later on as well. Again, the big winner to me today is Wendell Carter Jr. I think Otto Porter gets some value. I think Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier lose. I think Norman Powell loses value. Gary Trent gains value, but not necessarily enough to be a 12-team league sort of player. Rondo Williams, not really interesting at all to me. Tony Bradley maybe impacts Moses Brown, but not enough for me to care. George Hill, not a value option. Nemanja Bjelica, not an option. RJ Hampton, a very interesting guy in Orlando. Chuma Akiki, an interesting guy. Keep an eye on Dan Gafford in Washington, but I'm not convinced that Scott Brooks will have any sort of consistency there. Troy Brown, not even sure where he fits in the rotation in Chicago either. Does Jamal Murray's value go up? No. No, I don't really think it changes at all. You know what? Oh, my Built Bar box is empty. Let's crack open the other one. Might need to have a Built Bar. Why hasn't Andre been... Okay, I'm not going to hate that one. I don't want to eat on air. Starsky says... Actually, let's go. Starsky says, Josh, why hasn't Andre been traded? The disrespect by the Cavs disgusts me. Has the league already forgot he won finals MVP guarding LeBron? What are we talking about? Who? Andre Iguodala? Why would he be traded? The disrespect by the Cavs? What the hell are we talking about here? This is a different Andre, Starsky. Are you just paying super chat money to talk shit? What are you talking about? Why hasn't Andre been traded? Andre Drummond? The disrespect by the Cavs disgusts me. Has the league already forgot he won finals? Yeah, mate, I can't answer that because I don't know what you're talking about. We are, 23 minutes away here from the end of the deadline? Is Horford a buyout candidate? He's got 2 years left on his contract. It'd have to be one of those ones like the Blake Griffin buyout. I really don't think. I think he's just going to not play, to be honest. If you want to talk real shutdowns, I think that's probably one that's going to happen. Mike R. Josh, you're the best. What would you expect the floor ceiling of Drummond's value to be wherever he goes? 13 cat with made percentages, offensive rebounds, horrendous categories again. Floor and ceiling. Ceiling, look, he's not going to be the guy that... He's not going to be the guy that he was in Cleveland in terms of minutes and usage because he's going to go to one of these good teams, allegedly. So, what? Ceiling, top 50, I guess. Floor, maybe he's not top. If he doesn't play 20 minutes a night, maybe top 80. Like I think that's a real chance. Is there a buyout deadline? There is. I don't know what it is. It's not a buyout. You can buy them out at any point. But there's a time where they have to be bought out and signed to a roster so they can be eligible for the playoffs. Normally it's like March 1st, but we're in a really different scenario here. So I think we're a little bit... I think maybe it's April 1st. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can Google this. NBA playoff roster deadline. All right, let's have a look. It doesn't tell me on that stupid thing. No, I can't see it. Does anyone? If anyone knows that, it'd be great if you could tell me. It is normally March 1st, but that's not the case this year. So I don't know. Let's see if this site has it. Oh, this might help me. April 9th. That is your buyout deadline. There you go. 20 minutes left. Still no movement on Lonzo, on Lowry, on Oladipo. Again, I keep saying this because I keep assuming that he's just rostered everywhere. Terrence Ross is a good guy to roster here. TJ Daly dropped the salt flake for Otto Porter. Yes. Will Finnan, worst three are Justin Holiday, Rob Williams, and DeAndre Hunter. Do I drop 1, 2, or 3 in favor of a stream spot? Yeah, I think Justin Holiday can be dropped in that scenario. Keep Lowry or Moses or drop 1 for Wendell Carter Jr. 10-team points league. I'm not... Yeah. I don't think I would do it because I haven't seen it yet and I'm not convinced 100% on what Wendell's going to do in Orlando. But I think Lowry for Wendell could be a move. And again, if you're not confident in Moses, I'd wait 20 minutes and see if anything else goes on here. But I could see Wendell being the best of that trio pretty easily. But I could also see him being the worst of that group. That's a tough question to me. I personally would probably drop Moses for Wendell, even though I do like him. Lonzo practiced today, so he's most likely not traded. He practiced and then left halfway through. Again, this has got nothing to do with it. I saw someone tweeting this yesterday. I think it was a Bulls reporter said the Bulls are playing all their guys, so no one's going to get traded. Like, did you not see Aaron Gordon start for Orlando and Kyle Lowry and Norm Powell start for Toronto? And then, of course, the Bulls traded these guys. So just none of this shit means anything. Whether you practice or you don't practice, it doesn't mean anything. Stuff can go down at literally any... Harrison Barnes got traded in the middle of a game. None of this stuff means anything. Oladipo practice, does that mean he's getting... I think the problem with Oladipo is no one wants him. Maybe he's got a bit of a dickhead reputation. I don't know if that's true or not. March 25th is buyout deadline. March 25th is today, my guy. That's not the buyout deadline. That's the trade deadline. Where's Fournier's value? Much lower than it was. How many people are going to be making lemon pepper Lou Williams jokes now that he's traded to Orlando? I'm already sick of it, and it's been 5 minutes. Is Marcus Smart a drop? No. Why? He's better than Evan Fournier, guys. He's not a drop at all. He might be a drop. We'll see what sort of nonsense Brad Stevens does, but he's not a drop, no. That's definitely not one where I'm making that initial move to drop him. Michael Porter Jr. value, maybe a hit. Dennis Smith worth a pickup, absolutely. Deeper to Miami, possibly. Sure, why not? Everyone to Miami. Let's all go to Miami. Do I drop Alexei Pokusevski for Otto Porter? Poku's got higher upside for sure. But I think if you look at the runway to minutes and the consistency, it is probably Porter. A Vooch guy in our league is worried about him. Might be a buy low. Should I offer PJ13 or maybe try Michael Porter? Well, not PJ13. Michael Porter, yes, for sure. I would try that one. Kyle Ackerman. Do I drop Fournier for Wendell Carter? I would do that. But in a 14-team league, you surely have someone worse. You surely have someone worse. Oh, God. I'm going to get lots of Rondo questions, aren't I? Is he a must-add? Is he going to start? Maybe he does start over Reggie Jackson, but I don't know. He's just really not good. He can be an assists specialist. That's it. Does Robert Williams take a hit with Fournier there? I don't really see it being that much of a concern. He's going to be up and down anyway. So does he take a hit from going between 22 and 14 minutes? I think he stays in that same area. Philip Churchich, would you make a move for a Hampton over Satoransky? No. Brooks, maybe. Oh, in a dynasty league over Dylan Brooks, yeah, and Satoransky, yeah, easy. Who is an add on the Magic? Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter, Terrence Ross, maybe Chuma Akiki, maybe RJ Hampton. Unlikely Gary Harris, but maybe. Am I wearing pants? Yes, of course. Do you want to see my pants? I'm wearing shorts, actually. All right, let's have some of this scalding hot coffee. It's so hot still. My God. Rondo will be playoff Rondo come playoffs. Cool, which means jack shit for fantasy. And he may not either. How soon could the players traded play? Well, that depends on the individual scenarios. They have to clear COVID protocols, clear physicals, get to their new team. Don't know. We've got a lot of... It's normally 2 to 3 days, but sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 1.5. Who knows? James Cranston, if you type messages like that, I'm never going to answer them. Where is Michael Bolton? Mate, he's here.
Let's get to it.
See? Someone beat me to Trent Jr. Oh, well, I don't think that's that big a deal. Cole Anthony to start when he returns? Absolutely no reason why he wouldn't. Oh, yeah, can't show us your shorts. No, who wants to see my shorts? My little light blue booty shorts. Why is Otto Porter a must-add? He isn't a must-add. Please stop taking words that I didn't say. I didn't say that. It's like I didn't say Aaron Gordon was a must-drop. I didn't say he was a must-add. I didn't say any of those things. I said he's a guy to maybe consider as maybe a guy we add in 12-team leagues. I didn't say he's a must-add, but why? Like, is he going to start? Maybe. Who's their starters? Cole Anthony, let's say, / Michael Carter Williams at shooting guard? I don't know. RJ Hampton, Gary Harris. Gary Harris is hurt. So is Hampton starting there? Small forward, James Ennis, Dwayne Bacon, or Otto Porter. Who do you want there? It's probably Porter. Power forward, Chuma Akiki, and center Wendell Carter Jr. That's why he's an ad. If he plays 30 minutes a night, he'll have 12-team value, but he's not a must roster player. People actually want to see my shorts. I don't know what's wrong with you people. Seriously. Guys, what are you talking about? Still no Kyle Lowry move? All these are guaranteed deals. Oladipo definitely going. KPJ to the moon. Yeah, Kyle Lowry, man, he's definitely gone. There's no definites in any of this stuff. Man, we've still got 15 minutes, so stuff can go on. But nothing is guaranteed. If someone drops a super chat, I'll show you my shorts. Philip Churchich again, do I like Jakob Poeltl or Moses Brown more in punt free throw build? Well, the certainty of Poeltl is more appealing. The upside of Brown is there, but there is a lot of things in the way of Brown. In terms of upside, though, if you want to fly for upside and these guys are both available to add, then you just take that. Look, if no one has grabbed Poeltl yet, then your league is asleep. So I would grab Moses. Nick says, you're a man of the people. Am I? Would you drop Satoransky, Claxton, or Miles Bridges for Dennis Smith, Otto Porter, or another target? Miles Bridges for Dennis Smith or Otto Porter, absolutely. I think I'd still probably hold Claxo and Sato in those scenarios, but yeah, I would consider. I think Bridges' upside is pretty low at this point. I have mentioned this D Meister 23. Does Norman Powell's value change? I think it does a little bit. Clarence Beek says, would I draft Eloy Jimenez? Now, Clarence, I don't know anything about baseball, but a couple of years ago, I started a franchise mode on Road to the Show 2019 maybe, and I was the White Sox, and that guy was amazing. So yes, I would, knowing nothing else, but I know he's good. Someone dropped. All right, so someone dropped a super chat to see my shorts. I don't know why people care, but here you go. There you go. Can you see those? How exciting is that? There you go. Was that worth your super chat? Shorts reveal coming up. There's a bunch of picks in some of these deals as well, which I haven't really covered off. I don't know. I have to really go through and... Oh, hey, Yusuf Nurkic is coming back on Friday. The big fella. There you go. That's exciting news. Eloy Jimenez is out 5 to 6 months. That's really disappointing. Not that I know anything, again, about baseball. Is Alexander Walker an ad if Lonzo is gone? Yes. Man, there is so much going on here. This is one of the biggest brain melt days of the year. I can't wait for my OnlyFans. Hey Josh, what are your thoughts on Emmanuel Quickly long term? Can you compare his potential career to an older NBA player? I am not as high on him as others are. He is a point guard sized shooting guard who doesn't pass and is inefficient at this point. Gets the line a lot, which is important. I think his perceived value is higher than his actual value, and I would look to sell high based on that. Who can I compare him to? Look, his stat line is very Gary Trent-esque. Drop Jaren Jackson for Moses. Look, I don't know how you can be still holding Jaren Jackson, to be honest. Johnny Juicer. Tim Melchiore is your biggest fan, Josh. Hey, Tim, how are you? I don't know who you are, but if you're my biggest fan, then you get a shout out. Cosio, I know you've said this a million times, and I have read it. Can I list the players who are must-adds based on the trades? Yes, but I can't rank them, and I've said it about a million times already here in this show. But again, that is what we're going to do, a more detailed breakdown later on when everything has been sort of assessed more. But I will give a sum up at the end of this for sure. Guys, don't panic. This is what the trade deadline's like. 9 minutes left, nothing's happening. This is just what happens. This is how the trade deadline goes. And once 3 p.m. Eastern hits, there'll be deals that get announced after that as well. If Oladipo isn't traded, is Kevin Porter a drop? No, he's not. Is Howard a pickup? Yeah, look, I think obviously there's no other center there in Philadelphia at this stage, so yes. As assuming you can deal with his poor free throws, then yes, you can do that. Drop Taylor Horton Tucker for Reggie Jackson. Mate, why? Reggie Jackson's doing nothing. Do I have interest in Theo Maledon with no George Hill? Cam, have you had interest in Theo Maledon with no George Hill for the last 2 months? And if the answer to that is no, then the answer to that is no. Will Tony Bradley affect Moses Brown production? Potentially. Yeah, look, potentially. I still think there's more upside in Brown, but that is a worry for sure. Will George Hill hurt Shake's value? Absolutely, Gordon Jackson. I can't see how it won't. We won't get, guys, I don't think we're going to get a Drummond resolution today or a LaMarcus Aldridge resolution today, which unfortunately it means that the shittest thing in sports is going to happen and they're going to get bought out. Again, one of the worst things ever, and it sucks. Absolute dog's balls. Ian Volman, what will happen to Evan Fournier's value? It will drop. It will have to drop. It has no way not to drop. How far it drops remains to be seen. Is Batum a drop? Yes, he's been a drop for a while now. Is Dort a 16-team leaguer?
No, my son is also named Bort.
16-team, yeah. Is Thad Young's value taking a hit? I think it has to take somewhat of a hit, yes. He was playing only 25 minutes a night now anyway. So Vooch is going to play more than Wendell was. So I think Thad's going to lose a little bit there. Is Drummond top 100 at the Lakers? Man, I don't know. Is Andre Drummond better than Marc Gasol? From a fantasy perspective, yes. But real life perspective, is he better than Montrezl Harrell? Who of those guys doesn't play for Drummond to get enough minutes? Do they just take Gasol out of the rotation? Do they take Harrell out of the rotation? I don't know what they do there. I'd say I would take a flyer on him, but man, it's very confusing. The idea of Andre Drummond is way better than the reality of Andre Drummond. Josue Hidalgo. Give Drew for Lowry if traded. Mate, no, because how would I know? I don't know where he's getting traded. And most likely his value drops. So I would say almost definitely that I would keep Drew Holiday. Terrence Davis has gone to Sacramento for a second-round pick. Clearing out space again for a Lowry deal. Terrence Davis just isn't going to play. Fox, Heald, Halliburton, Delon. Davis just isn't going to be... He'll get maybe the 10 minutes that Justin James is playing. Absolutely nothing to see there at all. What is Kevin Porter's value? What to get back in a trade? Look, he's got top 40 upside. Realistically, he's probably top 100. But, unless you get a top 50 guy back, I'd rather just hold. Yeah, I'd rather just hold. A lot of excitement about Terrence Davis getting traded for a second-round pick. He's just not going to play very much. Unless Buddy Hield is getting dealt. Shout out to Built Bar for the mint brownie bar. And shout out to Locked On for my Locked On mug. Just chucking a couple of plugs in. And all my other sponsors. New sponsor coming today, by the way, as well. Which I'm pretty excited for. All right. I would say that a Lowry trade is coming and an Oladipo one isn't. I know that I just fall for the bait every time. But Asgar says he's Derek White a hold. I'm getting in front of this microphone. Let's move this out of the way. Yes, he is a hold. What are we talking about here? Holy shit. Anyway. What's going on here? Josh, can you shout out my podcast? Shout out to your podcast. Russ the Muss. I don't know what your podcast is, and you didn't tell me, so hey, what can I do with that? Kevin F. Drop Drummond for Bradley. No, not a chance. Is Bielitsa better than Udonis Haslam? Yes, easily. Mustafa Olatiwala. Oh, sorry, I got that wrong. Olatilewa. Rest of season. Moses, Mitchell, Wendell. Mitch and Wendell ahead of Moses pretty clearly. Out of Mitch and Wendell, I think it's probably Mitch, but I'm not certain about that. All right, let's go. We've got 3 minutes to the deadline. Oladipo. Ooh, here we go. JJ Redick to the Mavericks. Not officially confirmed, but that's Sham saying that. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, guys, needs to be on a roster. Redick, no value there. That's going to... Maybe he takes Trey Burke's minutes and takes some Brunson and Hardaway's minutes, but yeah, not... It's just a nice depth piece. He hasn't been good this year either. How would I... If I ever wondered how I'd look with long hair, check the invitation on Netflix. I've had relatively long hair before. Does Wendell's value increase in Orlando? Absolutely. Do I hold Sadiq Bey or Kevin Porter Jr.? You hold Kevin Porter Jr., No Lonzo Ball trade. He is staying in New Orleans. There you go. Lonzo not getting traded. So, Lonzo left practice. He's getting dealt. He is not getting dealt. So the Alexander Walker value obviously drops. Is he a drop? Probably yes. He'll still get 20 plus a night with JJ Redick on, but I'm not sure that's enough to have him as more than a streamer at this stage. I don't know how I feel. Like, Lonzo's good. I don't know. Yeah, I think they should have tried. They obviously just didn't get enough out of it, and they just said, well, we've got restricted rights, so we'll hold on, which I think is probably the right move for the Pelicans in the end. Is Lonzo injured? Yes. Like he's dealing with a hip problem, which according to everybody meant he was getting traded. Never using this mug again, man. The coffee stays too hot. I have to prepare it the night before to be able to drink it. All right, we have got like a minute left before the deadline. Remember, some deals will come through later after the deadline, the next 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll hang around here and do that. Chris Haynes reporting the Cavs and Drummond are working at a buyout. Oh, good for them. Well done. Kids, leave. Fucking stupidest rule in the world. How absolutely ridiculous. He's going to go to the Lakers and he's going to go to the Nets. Oh, for fuck's sake. Seriously. The dumbest rule in the world. You cannot justify it to me. That's just ridiculous, man. I'm so annoyed at that. I suppose the Cavs didn't pay anything to get him. It's the whole situation ridiculous. If he does go to the Lakers, Drummond, which is what appears to be likely, again, who does he play over? Harrell? Gasol? Is he taking the ball out of LeBron's hands? I know LeBron's not playing. Are they going to play them together? Why RIP my sponsor? My sponsor's fine. Derek White or Rui Hachimura? Come on, guys. It's Derek White every single day of the week. Do I drop Clarkson for Trent or Dennis Smith? I'd probably rather Clarkson there. Trade Towns for Levine? No. Well, is Kyrie Lewis a look at extended minutes? I don't see how, unless Lonzo's injury is serious. Well, if Depot isn't moved, I'll celebrate on behalf of KPJ stands. All his cousins are going to be pretty upset. Will Thad Young hold on to his value in 9-cat? I think it will drop. Miko Estrada, Kleber or Kiki? And I think the upside of a Kiki is probably worth having a crack at. Over that other player that I've just completely blanked on. We're back to my screen. Over Kleber. Who to drop for Nurkic? Why is Nurkic available? Tate, Fournier, Kanter, or Pirtle? Well, Kanter, that's the obvious one, isn't it? Is Alize Johnson an ad? No, not even close. So that's it. The time is up. So let's wait to see if anything else comes through. John Collins and Bogdan Bogdanovic are not moving. So the Hawks don't do anything apart from that Lou Williams trade. Pretty exciting to get Nurkic back this week. Oh, we didn't get 5,000 people in here at once. It's annoying. Oh, well. Still good to have all you guys in here. Who do I think won the Blazers and Raptors trade? Probably actually, to be honest, I think both teams win it because the Raptors are going to drop guys. So they're like selling off players. So they get back a guy with some restricted rights in Gary Trent and get back a little bit of value there. I think they got some picks in that deal as well. And then the Blazers improved this year by getting Norman Powell. So it's hard to say. Trey Lyle's gone to the Mavs. I don't know. The Bulls are in talks to trade Mo Wagner to the Celtics for Daniel Tice. Why? The Mavericks also got Trey Lyles from the Spurs in that JJ Redick deal. I don't know how or why. No, Trey Lyles isn't an ad. Daniel Tice to the Bulls to be the backup to... What? Casey Johnson. Now, I know you've plugged in with the Bulls, but that makes no sense. Is Danny Ainge okay? I mean, the answer is no. The Lakers expected favourites for Drummond to be their starting centre. Do they know that he is not as good as Marc Gasol? All right, Trey Lyles to the Mavs. Who to drop to make room for Nurkic in a Yahoo Points League? Poole, Horton Tucker, Aldridge, or Roby. It's got to be Horton Tucker out of that group. But you've got a lot of droppable players there. Balint Fernangal, 10-team 9-cat, free throw percentage, punt, Pirtle, Rob Williams, or Wendell. I feel like I answered this one already. Rob Williams is by far the highest upside there, so it's him. Is there a pregame show today? Yes, there is. You can see that on the YouTube page. Chris Goodneck, Nurkic's upside. His upside's top 30, pretty clearly. 12-team Roto offered him for Healed and got turned down. What round of player to target to get value? I would much rather Nurkic than Healed, so I think you... Did you try to get him by trading Healed away? You need 3 points in field. People, you're trading him at the wrong time. Wait till he gets out there and starts rolling. The Mavs receive Redick and Lyles, sending out James Johnson, Wezawundo, and a second-round pick. That's not going to have any real impact on fantasy at all. A lot of people looking at this Kevin Porter scenario and assuming that he is just the natural fit to replace Oladipo if Oladipo's traded. They are running him almost exclusively as a point guard. Not 100%, but that's pretty much where his value is. So what you're hoping for is a John Wall injury. And of course, if Porter and Oladipo, if Wall and Oladipo play, then Porter has no value. We've seen that already. He plays like 23 minutes and he's not that good, guys. I know that every one of you here has got the surname Porter Jr., but he's not that good. Would I drop him just yet? No. It's not trending pretty well. And shout out to the bloke who told me that I cost people their leagues by saying that he wasn't a guaranteed must-add 4 weeks ago. This is again, maybe I'll just wait to see if more news comes in. This is the thing that comes out like so often in these trades as people make the speculative picks. Oladipo's gone. He's definitely out of there. As if they're keeping Oladipo. So this is guaranteed to happen. Well, no, it's not. So when you make these moves, like you've got to be able to understand that nothing is guaranteed. Kyle Lowry hasn't been traded yet. Like, are we going to get news on that? The Raptors made a bunch of moves to clear the runway. Oh, here's another trade. The Hornets are acquiring Brad Wanamaker from the Warriors. Got no idea what for. That's helping Jordan Poole, but Wanamaker had already lost his role to Mannion, so that doesn't really mean anything. But when you make these assumptions and you make criticisms, Josh, kids, I'm fired up. It's morning. I'm drinking a barrel of coffee. Kids, clear it out. Close your ears. When you come in and say these things, Josh, what are you talking about? Oladipo's definitely getting traded. Yeah, of course that's happening. Porter is going to play 35 a night. He's going to give the keys. Like, what are you fucking talking about? You don't know that. Nobody knows that. So we have to, there is always possibilities that this stuff doesn't happen. So when you speak with such precision on that stuff that hasn't happened, you're in trouble of getting burnt. Or if you make moves based on such precision, you are in problem. You do have some problems sometimes with those moves. So just be aware of that. Kill Kev. RIP Gallinari's potential with Collins not going right. Yeah, I would think so. Although he's been playing 26 a night, but that value has dropped off a little bit. So I think he's someone to move on. Now, again, just that trade with Redick going to the Mavs along with Trey Lyles and James Johnson, Wezawundo going out. We're not going to get many more chances to play this, so let's do it. All right, so yeah, that's that. Pick up LaMelo or Cole Anthony to activate Nurkic, or pick what? Look, I don't think that LaMelo is going to play. Yeah, I don't think that he's going to play this year or be useful for six weeks. So probably going to be Cole there. Can you please give my league the message that no IL spots is the dumbest way to play fantasy hoops? If you're in Cam's league, that's absolutely stupid. And it is dumb, and you need to have multiple injured reserve slots. Absolutely stupidity not to have them. We don't know what has happened with Wanamaker. We know he's traded. We don't know who for, is what I'm asking. We don't know about Wagner. Can Wagner be 12-team relevant in Boston? Absolutely no chance. I'm reading that on a Basketball Monster comment. No, I don't see how that could possibly happen. Yo, Josh, do I drop Roby or Kyle Anderson to activate Nurkic? I would say that's a pretty, just a bit of a coin flip there, to be honest. Should we keep this show going and make this like the mailbag show as well? Just make it a real long one. Let me know what you think. Should we keep it rolling? All 4,000 people of you in here. Drop Roby or Kyle Anderson. I would say I don't think you can make a wrong call there. I would probably drop Roby personally. Easonox says, is Dennis Smith Jr. an ad? Yes, he is. And I know you can't. Oh, here we go. Victor Oladipo to Miami. It's done. I don't know who for, but to Miami. Now, he loses some value, but we'll have to wait and see who comes back. I would assume that Duncan Robinson is going. So all you Kevin Porter Jr. fans, there you go. But again, his value, Porter's value is more tied to Wall than Oladipo, but this obviously helps him. Let's see what else is happening there. Kelly Oubre is staying with the Warriors. He's not getting traded. Victor Oladipo to the Heat. So he'll start. So that means Nunn or Robinson are both gone, or one of those is out of the starting lineup for sure. Is Hero moving on? I don't think the Heat have given up Hero, to be honest. I think it's going to be Dunk, which is a bad move. Shit if they give up Dragic in that scenario. Let's wait and see what else we find out about that trade. Drop Jordan Poole, Horton Tucker, or Alexander Walker for Nurkic. I would be more inclined with Horton Tucker or Alexander Walker. One of those two can go there, I think. Ghost St. Patrick. I traded Horford and quickly for Derek White and Will Barton. Did I do good? Yep, that's an amazing trade. Spencer Lynn, is Booker for Randall a reasonable offer in 9K? Yeah, they're just very different players. So, yeah, that's fine. Again, the deadline has passed, but we don't have any news here on Kyle Lowry. I am pretty convinced that's going to happen, but I don't know. It's been over an hour, my guy. Can you cool down? It's a good mug if you want to keep something warm. Who wants to burn their throat for an hour in a row, though? Is Michael Porter Jr. a drop in ESPN 18 points leagues? I don't know. What? No? I couldn't see how. No. The KPJ, Kevin Porter circle jerking, is going to be embarrassing. The Raptors are keeping Kyle Lowry. There you go. Wow. So they made all these moves to clear roster spots for no reason, and they're keeping Kyle Lowry? Huh. Interesting. Still don't have any confirmation on the Wanamaker deal, who goes back, or, of course, what happens in the Oladipo deal. It's got to be a first in there somewhere. No Spencer Dinwiddie trade. Oladipo, what's it got to be? Olynyk? I don't know. That changes a lot because it opens up a lot in Houston. Say it's Tyler Hero. Is Hero or Porter the guy that's going to get the value there? So, Toronto doesn't trade Lowry, but they trade Powell. They downgrade Powell to Trent. Does this mean they go back to starting a center? Do they want to start Trent, do they? Huh. I see that NBC Sports Edge is reporting that the Celtics have traded ties to the Bulls for Wagner. I don't believe that's the case. They were talking about it. I don't think that is confirmed. I'm going to open what their report is. I am pretty sure that's not confirmed. The Spurs have no trade for LaMarcus Aldridge. The Tice for Wagner trade makes 0 sense. Like, absolutely none. Oh, Brian Robb. A different source they've got. Maybe it was executed. Celtics are trading him to Mo Wagner. Tice loses all 12-team value. This does help. Those of you who were considering dropping Rob Williams, obviously not. He's better than Tristan Thompson. Tice loses all value behind Nikola Vucevic. Still nothing else. No other news. We're still waiting on information about Wanamaker and about Oladipo. If there's any further information about Drummond or about Aldridge, again, they're not being traded, but if we have any confirmation about where they're going to end up, we don't know that just yet. Man, there is too much going on in that chat. I cannot read that. Should I trade Zala to get Drummond? God, yes. I don't know who's accepting that, but yes. Trade Wall and Jeremy Grant for Zion Williamson. Yes, I would do that. Sammy Bass, trade Markkanen for DeAndre Hunter. I would probably do that. Anthony DiCocco, Plumlee, Pirtle, or Wendell Carter Jr. the rest of the season. It's probably Wendell, to be honest. A higher upside there to me. Robin Lamoureux, does it make sense for the Celtics to stay under the tax? That's true. It makes no sense from a competitive standpoint, though. Oh, here we go. The Rockets acquire Avery Bradley, Kelly Olynyk, and a 2022 pick swap. So, in other words, nothing. Nothing. They traded nothing. That's how low Victor... Oh, that's my bloody watch. They traded nothing. Oh my God. Holy shit. All right, so what does this mean? Oladipo, so this hurts Duncan Robinson, who was already a drop. He was already a drop. Kendrick Nunn, guys.
Get that garbage out of here!
Trevor Ariza, keep an eye on him, because who is going to start now in Miami, unless they're bringing in LaMarcus Aldridge, but even then I don't think he's an ad. That's Kelly Olynyk in Houston. Where does he might have some value there. Miami, the favorite for LaMarcus Aldridge. Yeah, Olynyk does maybe have some value in Houston. So Olynyk and Avery Bradley has none. Don't consider him at all. Of course, this helps Kevin Porter. Sterling Brown, maybe a bit of a bump. Gee, that's a shit trade, though. Fuck, Oladipo's worth nothing. I offered Cat to get Butler yesterday. Yeah, Cat's better than Butler anyway. I don't know why you would do that. Ties to the Bulls is not confirmed. LaMarcus Aldridge is staying? No, he isn't at all. Marquise Chris to the Spurs. All right, that doesn't make sense. He's not playing this year. I don't know why. Don't know who's going back the other way. That it doesn't mean anything. He's out with a broken leg. So that means nothing. Still trying to wrap my head around this Rockets deal. Again, Avery Bradley might play 30 minutes, but I don't think he's a 12-team league guy. He probably won't, though. Okay, so the Rockets, Oladipo came in the Harden deal. They could have had Karis LeVert. And they got literally nothing for Oladipo because they won't get that pick swap. They got nothing. Nothing. That's amazing. Bielitsa is now the only power forward on the Heat. No, that's not true because Trevor Ariza will play there. And Andre Iguodala will play there. And KZ Okpala might get into the rotation as well. Bielitsa might start, maybe. I think Ariza will be the guy that starts there, but Bielitsa could start, but he's not a high-end guy to me. They got that is amazing. Yeah, so that is confirmed. Tice to Chicago. So Rob Williams, obviously. Rob Williams, the Rock DJ, you're guaranteed absolute must roster. He has been for ages, but if any of you have just been out there, you're fingering your buttholes, you got to add him. He has to be added. Mo Wagner is not that good. You have to add Rob Williams. That is the number one, the thing you have to look at. That is absolutely guaranteed. As for Tice, he loses a ton there in Chicago. Clear drop if you had him in 12-team leagues. Don't know what else is going on. There's got to be more in that Tice Wagner deal. Has to be. Bulls are going all in on the playoffs here. The brand of coffee I drink is called Pod and Parcel. They're a local company that makes Nespresso capsules. Is Ross a must-add player even with his injury? Is Clarkson a hold? I'm getting impatient. Ross is a must-add, yeah. Is Clarkson a hold? Not necessarily. Is Wendell Carter the biggest winner of the trade deadline? Maybe except for Rob Williams. Is it normal that trades are still coming out? Yes. Mo Wagner to the Celtics, but we don't have any more information about that deal yet. All right, what else? Anything else going on? Can't believe that Kyle Lowry didn't get traded. Can't believe that. After they traded like Matt Thomas and Terrence Davis for what? All right, so we've got more reports on this. Oh, the Warriors are trading Marquise Chris for, guys, Katie Lillane. Anyone know who that is? It's like a second-round pick about 3 years ago. Stein said the Spurs had no trades for LaMarcus Aldridge. I know, and they're going to buy him out. So it's a three-team deal with the Wizards, the Bulls, and the Celtics. Javonte Green goes to Chicago as well. So Dan Gafford and Chandler Hutchison to the Wizards, Daniel Tyson, Troy Brown to the Bulls, and Javonte Green to the Bulls, and Mo Wagner to the Celtics. So what are the Celtics doing? There's some that's weird. That's a weird one. I know we all love trades, right? But there is a human part of this as well. I think we need to. It must imagine how tough it is. Imagine you're at work, and you're just like, well, you're working for a different company now. Like what? Oh, yeah, and your family's got to move across the country, or you've got to move away from your family. It's tough, man. I know. Oh, they're making millions of dollars. Suck it up, my guys. It's still shit. Even if you're making $1 million. $10 million, and you do it, you go, oh, I've got to do it, but it's not good. It can screw with you, man. Talk to any player, any professional athlete about this stuff, and you go, oh, they get to play a game for fun, man, they make money. Like, it's bullshit. You still have to have some sympathy for these guys. Can Birch start over Wendell Carter Jr.? I would be stunned. Will Kelly Olynyk get 30 minutes? That means he has to get him over Wood and over Tate. I would say mid-20s more likely. A lot of people getting excited about Nemanja Bjelica. I just don't really see it for him. I think he'll play like a 24-minute-a-night role, but Okpala might be in the mix there. Trevor Ariza might be in the mix. I just don't... He's definitely not must roster. And then Aldridge is going to go there as well. So I wouldn't waste an ad on Bjelica at this point. How does Norm Powell getting moved help OG's rest of season value? It does help him a little bit. It probably boosts some of his usage. But Gary Trent's going to slide in close to Norm Powell as well, although I do think they'll bring Trent off the bench and maybe go back to a center. But there is no other center that they've got in. So there's only just Boucher and Baines. And Baines is really... Does Mo Wagner take value from Rob Williams? No. No, he doesn't. He's not good. I could be wrong on all these things. These are just all, gut reactions as to what has happened as I go through these things, and then maybe I'll go through and things change. But man, no. Did I forget about Precious Achiuwa? Precious Achiuwa's been out of their rotation. He's not a 4 either. Will they play him and Bam together? They have been very reticent to do that. I did not forget about him. He just hasn't been that good. We're going to go through all this. We're just going to wait for more confirmation on... What else do we need? I think we might be done. We don't have confirmation on the Brad Wanamaker deal. But I reckon we'll give some brief updates on it. But then again, I'm going to do a show later on today talking about more stuff. Yeah, once we really dig into this. Do we drop Hero with Oladipo coming? Well, I think it's looking that way. I think that's a good question. I think it is looking that way. Duncan Robinson was already a drop. So who the hell is going to start? Oladipo, Robinson, Butler? Let's say Aldridge and Bam, or Ariza and Bam. So none loses a ton. He's already a drop. Hero probably loses. Goran Dragic, not a 12-team league guy. These guys are already on the back end of 12-team value anyway. So I think they are droppable guys. How does it work that trades come through after the deadline? Is there a leniency period? Now, I'll tell you how it works, Kale. Is the trades get done, but the media doesn't get told about the trades as they happen. The teams do it, they put the paperwork through, it gets submitted, and then agents or teams leak it out to reporters. So the stuff is done. It's a hard cutoff if you don't get it in on time. But the media doesn't get told as it's happening. They're not there in front of the emails reading them as they come through. So you're getting all this stuff sorted out. They might be just one agent saying, hey, my guy just got traded. And then Nicola Melli is going to Dallas as well in that JJ Redick deal. No, Nicola Melli is not an ad. That's how this stuff goes down. Points league, do I drop any of these? Cantor, Barnes, OG, Carter Jr. for Kevin Porter Jr. How is Kevin Porter Jr. not rostered? And yes, Enes Kanter's a clear drop. Is Tristan Thompson a 16-team must-add? I would say so, yes. Hassan Whiteside, Breadwinner asks. That's the question. The answer to the question of Hassan Whiteside is trash. Now, does Hassan Whiteside get bought out of his minimum salary contract that no one wanted to trade for? Maybe. But again, so many people have so many high hopes. I had someone tell me that I'm the biggest Hassan Whiteside fan. I think it's unfair how he's being disrespected. Like, he's terrible. I don't understand how we have this happening. A lot of people really overrating Nemanja Bjelica, I see. This is the Basketball Monster chat. People are so pumped about him with Olynyk on. He's not that good. If you weren't this fired up about Kelly Olynyk, who's a better player than Nemanja Bjelica, maybe calm down on Nemanja Bjelica. Like, I just don't think he's particularly great. And it's happened so much at the trade deadline. So these guys that you might think have value, there just isn't. Like, there just isn't a ton of value in a lot of these guys. So much is going to be fringy. Your big winners are Rob Williams. Your big winner, your Kevin Porter, your Wendell Carter, Otto Porter. Big days for the Porters because even Michael Porter loses some value. Evan Fournier loses value. Aaron Gordon loses value. Victor Oladipo loses value. Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Goran Dragic, Duncan Robinson. They all lose value in Miami. Kelly Olynyk probably gains some value, but I'm still, he's not necessarily walking into a starting role. Yeah, I don't think he's working into a starting role necessarily because I think they'd like to keep Jay Sean Tate there, the wild thing. I think, Olynyk's not going to have that 12-team value. Yeah. Oh, guys, there's so much happening here. Whew. Thad Young a drop? Maybe. I'm not sure about that. Birch or Bumba? Probably neither. I would hope that they would play Bumba over Birch, but that hasn't been a thing for 3 years. Okay, here we go. Shams. Dallas sent Jimmy Johnson, Wezawundu, and a second-round pick to the Pelicans to get Redick and Malley. Okay. So where does James Johnson fit in there, or Wezawundu? Now, Owundu's terrible. James Johnson, a name to watch if they decide to play him, but he's a backup to Zion Williamson, really, so nothing to really get too excited about there. Owundu and Johnson aren't going to impact Alexander Walker, who's going to have a 20-minute a night role, but is that enough to maintain him as a 12-team league guy? Probably not. But with Lonzo Ball still hurt, you keep Alexander Walker for now. Edmund Sahakian says, please say aluminium. Or do you want me to say it in an American way? Aluminum. It's aluminium, my guys. You can't just drop letters and think you're using the same word. How does this affect Alexander Walker's value? It doesn't. His value is impacted by Lonzo not getting traded. And the other thing with Bielitsa is, again, if Aldridge is going to come over, he's going to take Kelly Olynyk's role in minutes, which appears what's going to happen. Josh Jackson, now that Delon Wright is gone, well, they're playing different positions. So Jackson, now remember, Wayne Ellington didn't get traded. Hamidou Diallo is going to play that position. I think actually Josh Jackson's value is going to go down, amazingly. Rob Williams or Wendell Carter? I think it has to be Rob Williams. Is Tony Bradley an ad? No. Alize Johnson's number 1 on Basketball Monsters ranking. He is. Because he had that absolute monster yesterday, of course. Is Al Horford a drop? I would have to assume yes. Yes. Alexander Walker's not as good as you guys think he is as well. That Oladipo trade is horrendous. They should have just... And I'll tell you why they did it. Why they took Oladipo over... I can't explain why they did the Oladipo trade. But the reason why they took Oladipo over LeVert is because they wanted to save money and have cap space for this summer so that your mate Tillman Fertitta could not have to pay as much. That's horrendous. So all you're getting back for James Harden really is draft picks. Horrendous. 16-team 9-cat. Is Tice a drop? Wright a drop? Carter Williams an ad? I'd say Tice is a drop. Delon, no, not in 16-team. Should I trade Porzingis for Morant? God, no. What, you want to trade the 30th ranked player for the 110th? No. I'm really interested to see exactly what goes on in Oklahoma City with those centers. Brown, Roby, Bradley. It's a lot to do. All right, I think we might wrap this up because I have a lot to do in terms of projections. We're going to come back with a live pre-game show, which we won't talk too much about trades there. But we will do a big show later on today once I've gone through and done all the projections. So, guys, we're going to wrap this up right now. Aldridge is getting bought out, and he's going to head to Miami. Buyouts, man. You suck. You suck. Aldridge getting bought out. It sucks. All right, guys, we are out of here. I will say thank you to everyone for being in here. Drop a like on your way out. Let's see if we can hit 1,000 likes on the YouTube show here. And yeah, I'll be back later on today with way more content. So, guys, I will see you later. Thank you so much for listening and for watching, everyone. See ya.